Hi guys, today I'm going to tell you about Arsenicum Album, which is an incredibly useful and important remedy to know about. Specifically, I'm going to talk about its acute applications rather than its chronic ones, because of course it can be used in constitutional care, but that's beyond the scope of this video. We're going to talk about acute situations. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Raquel. This is my channel where I talk about all things health and homeopathy related. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure and click the subscribe button followed by the alert button so that you get notifications every time I post. If you like the video, be sure and let me know down below. Give it a thumbs up. And if you know anybody who could benefit from the information in this video, be sure and share it with them. Tell everybody you can about how great homeopathy is. I need to remind you that the information in this video is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice for your specific situation. If you ever feel like you have questions or concerns about your health, be sure and contact the proper health professionals. Also, there are, of course, going to be more remedies than just arsenicum for a lot of the issues that I'll mention today. So if you are dealing with any of these sorts of things, you need to make sure that you repertorize and match your remedies properly, following the system I outline in my other video. I can't remember the name of it right now. In my video, I will link it at the end and down in the description box. Arsenicum is the #1 remedy for food poisoning, and it is one of the top, maybe 3 or 4, for colds and flu-like symptoms. If you will remember from a video that I did not too long ago about where I walked through a couple of cases with Miranda Castro's book, one of those cases was a cold that I had, and I ended up matching arsenicum. But I didn't match it first. And when I realized that I missed the remedy and I had picked the wrong one first, I thought I need to dig more deeply into arsenicum. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized that there really should have been no doubt. Arsenicum should have been the first remedy because I had several of the keynotes that I had just missed before in my repertorizing. So I thought I would share this great remedy. A few of the keynote symptoms with arsenicum is burning pain. Most of the pains associated with arsenicum are burning. This is an interesting burning pain though. No matter where the cause is from, whether it's from an actual burn or a sore throat that burns, it will feel better from warmth rather than from cold. It's actually worse for cold, except for headaches. Headaches are the only arsenicum symptom that are actually better for cold. And so sometimes you would see somebody who needs arsenicum, who has, say, a cold or a flu, where they have other symptoms going on too, but they also have a headache. They will be all wrapped up and bundled up in their comforter, sitting next to the open window, trying to get some fresh air on their head, because that feels better cold, but everything else wants to be warm. They may also have a sense of exhaustion that is out of proportion with their symptoms, or they might seem like they're in proportion. If they're really sick and having a lot of vomiting or diarrhea, they will be extremely exhausted as well. But sometimes there's just this sense of exhaustion that they just can't get up and do anything, even though it's a little out of proportion with how they're feeling. And I definitely experienced this. Something interesting though is that arsenicum is also often going to be very fastidious, so they will feel the need to clean or pick things up if they know somebody is coming over, even though they hardly have enough strength to get up off the couch and get themselves a drink or go to the bathroom by themselves, and they would much prefer to have somebody help them with it. There is a restlessness that accompanies arsenicum as well, however, which is a little contradictory considering how exhausted they are. They can't even get up off the couch to get a drink of water, but they're restless. They can't stay in one position very long because it tends to just make them feel worse. If they have a headache or are sick, they might prefer to sit lying down but with their head propped up on some pillows, but they won't be able to sit there for very long in one place without moving. Arsenicum people tend to have sensations of dryness, whether that is dryness during a fever, although that can be alternated with some profuse sweating, but it's generally dry at night, or a dry sensation in the throat and mouth. The mouth may also have a bitter or a metallic taste, And Arsenicum patients are very anxious. Anxiety is a keynote of Arsenicum, and they tend to be worse between the hours of 12 and 3, whether that is AM or PM. And they are worse for cold, and they are worse for exertion. And Arsenicum people are usually very thirsty, and they may take big gulps of water, but often they are going to want small, frequent sips of water and just be very thirsty. So what do these symptoms look like in everyday applications? Well, let's start with burning pain that's better for warmth. Cystitis, where it burns when you pee, but it feels better sitting in a warm bathtub. That could be a good key to point you towards Arsenicum. A sore throat that burns, it has a burning sensation. It might be worse on the right. It might feel very dry in your mouth and your throat. It may have a metallic or a bitter taste in your mouth. I experienced all of these when I had my cold, except it wasn't worse on the right. My cold, my whole throat was sore and dry and burning. If you have catarrh from your nose, it's usually going to be clear and drippy with Arsenicum, and it's going to burn the bottom of the nose, and this upper lip area will be red just from the burning of the boogers. And your sore throat is going to feel better from drinking something warm, like warm water or tea. If you have catarrh from your nose, it will probably be clear, have blood streaking in it, possibly at some times and not at others. It will probably burn your nose, and so that the redness of the nose and the upper lip with the drippy mucus from the nose is a really good sign to point you towards Arsenicum. If eyes are involved, then they might feel dry and gritty, be red, might feel burning, and be worse for the light. They might feel better with a warm compress on them. If the situation involves vomiting or diarrhea, like in a gastrointestinal flu or food poisoning, they often occur together at the same time. Often a person will vomit until they have nothing left and they are just vomiting smelly bile. And even the slightest, tiniest little sip of water can make them vomit it back up immediately again. Even the smell or thought of food can set them off on a vomiting spell. And this isn't just for viral illnesses. Mamas, a lot of us will experience these sorts of symptoms with morning sickness, and this can be really helpful when that happens, where you're set off by the slightest smell or thought of food, and you get going and you just can't stop until there is past the point that there is nothing left. If a person needs Arsenicum during a fever, they may feel cold in themselves, like they will feel chilled, but if you touch them, they will feel hot. Or vice versa. They may feel very hot in themselves, as though their blood is burning, and they may feel cold when you touch them. They may have sweating, very profuse sweating, or they may be dry and have no sweating at all. And we'll see with this fever, this characteristic Arsenicum thirst, where they are thirsty for small sips, frequent small sips of water, and they will probably be pale rather than flush, and their fever may even be accompanied by a delirium. Anxiety is another keynote of Arsenicum. They may be afraid of being alone and want somebody with them, and be afraid that if they get any worse, they might die, because they're so exhausted, so overwhelmed by their illness. They fear that they are going to die. Other types of things that involve burning pains, like canker sores or shingles or measles or mumps even, that have other Arsenicum type symptoms associated with them, can all benefit from this remedy. However, if you are dealing with canker sores and shingles eruptions regularly, that needs to be addressed by a homeopath so they can uproot that underlying weakness that is allowing these things to keep coming back, and you can move on with your life without dealing with them anymore, rather than just applying an acute Band-Aid. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you a good overview of what an arsenicum picture looks like so that you're able to recognize it next time you see it. If you have any success stories about arsenicum or anything that you want to share with us, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon.